We're good to go. Maia, I'm just really excited to talk to you. Kia ora. I ask everyone the same question. Yours is going to be in te reo though. Instead of how are you, KTP here, koe, how are you?
I tēnei rangi, he tino pai au. I'm feeling very good today. Something that I don't know I could have probably said if we did this maybe a month or two ago. I guess for me, this is the most secure I've genuinely felt mostly in myself in a long, long time. So I'm grateful to be here and I feel pretty good.
What's changed in the last month? Where were you at then?
I feel like I've grown in myself as a person. I feel very empowered in terms of everything that's going on outside of netball as Maia the person rather than Maia the athlete. Had a few lifestyle changes that have gone on in the background and it just makes me feel really good that I'm a blimmin' good person. I have great morals, I have great values, and I know that I take care of people. And I know I've always done that, but it's for the first time in a long time that I've genuinely believed that. So, yeah, I'm being genuine, I'm being authentic, and that's authentically me. Yeah.
We love Maia, the person. We love Maia, the netballer, but we love Maia, the person. You're inspiring me already, like with that chat. We're going to talk about you as a person and you as an athlete as well. We'll start off with, who are you away from the netball court? Who are you when you're not in that dress?
My name is Maia Kahurangi Wilson Tipene. That's how I would say my name I roto I te reo. Maia Kahurangi Wilson to most people. For me, I am a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm an auntie, I'm a partner, and then there's things like I'm a really good friend, and also I'm a captain. And so for me, I actually have a communications job outside of netball that not too many people know. I chose communications because right now I feel like I'm really good at talking. Sometimes I waffle and I talk way too much, but I feel like I come across quite genuine. I care a lot about people. I am a pro Netflix and chilled watcher. My favourite place is my bed. Being an athlete, you're travelling pretty much majority of the year, so the times in which I can just sit still, I can lie in bed, I can nap and just be no one else but me behind closed doors, that's one of the best feelings that I know.
You talked about authenticity and being yourself, and you right now truly are yourself. When have you not been?
I guess a lot of people just see the athlete, being a netballer, being one of the, I guess, top women's sports in the country. You're open to a lot of criticism. Yeah, a lot of things I've been commented on. I've been someone who potentially has always, I guess, supposed to be where I am today. I've been around the New Zealand netball scene since I was pretty much 14, 15. And so in some ways I feel like I've been shaped to be the person I am. And it means that people have commented on things like my body a lot. That's been really hard over the years when, oh, she's a bigger girl, so she's unfit. Maybe she's not supposed to be where she is. There's so many things that people see me and that you're just the netballer. And that's the only value that you bring, but no one actually necessarily knows who the real Maia is. And I reckon I'm pretty cool. I've got an amazing circle that keep me humbled. They hit me up, they're not afraid to hit me up and challenge me when they reckon my head's getting too fat. But those are the people that, at the end of the day, it's their opinion that cares the most to me.
Who's that? Who's in your circle?
My circle is my mother. Anyone who comes to a Robinhood Stars game knows she's in her purple Cook Island. We're not Cook Island, but she loves to go out in her Cook Island. She has car boot parties in the car park. She's the te queenie, she's the head of the Stars social committee. My mum's a massive rock for me. A couple of my best friends, Holly Fowler, who I've been lucky enough to play netball with since we were at Mags. Lisa Mather, I've met her through Stars Netball. My partner, just people who don't care about the netball, whether it's a win, lose or draw. They just want to see me grow, shine, rise to who I'm supposed to be.
I wanted to go back, actually. You talked about being in the New Zealand netball system, or in this netball system representatively, since you were, what, fourth form, maybe even younger than that, and that's when like high school netball was first getting televised on Sky. What was it like coming through that system and being touted from such a young age that you were the next thing?
It had its pros and cons, eh? Like when Sky first started having this college netball series, I think I was in year 9, whatever form that was. It was massive for us. They were curtain raisers to the ANZ games, and it was everything that we wanted to be. I remember making sure that my hair was straightened, and then maybe I put some makeup on so I looked good on TV. But it was the first time that people really got to see a glimpse of what the future of New Zealand netball was. And it was probably the first time that, we really felt like there was a massive pathway to be a professional athlete. And I remember those days being my most favourite, apart from debuting from Silver Ferns, it's the most favourite time of my career, because I could just play. There was no expectations. We were pretty good, so it helped that we were winning.
Oh, you guys were unbeatable.
Yeah.
Don't play it lightly. Mags are the best of the best.
Yeah, and I think that's the best thing, was that netball in particular at Mags, I was just playing with my mates, and we just happened to be pretty damn good, and it meant that being on TV, it showed that talent ID selectors had eyes on us. And as it's morphed, I was a really big girl in netball. I know I talk about body image and weight in particular quite a lot, but it's really interesting for me now reflecting back. I had no issues whatsoever with my weight or my size, because I just thought, you know what, I want to be taller, I want to be stronger, I want to be bigger, because that was my strength. And I never compared myself to anyone else. It's not until I turned into the professional game, first year out of high school at 18, that I really started to struggle, because there wasn't necessarily many other people like me. In terms of my size, everyone else was lean and strong, and I found that they were picking people who aesthetically looked better for ads or commercials or for certain roles, and I just never saw myself. And it wasn't until I dropped a few kegs that I started getting these roles, and it made me really look into myself and value my size and the value of the scales. To me, part of that was conditioning. So then as I got to probably 22, 23, that's still, 8 years of that conditioning I got used to it, and I just saw that the value was, when I keep dropping weight, I might be playing better, I'm fitter. I correlated my weight with fitness, and then fitness with performance. I also correlated that to I had to hit fitness targets. So if I was lighter, that means I'm carrying less and I'm able to run faster or for longer, which actually what I've learnt now isn't the case. And I guess parts of that value, I still struggle to stand on scales. It's a massive trigger for me. I logically, I know that it's just a number, but that 8 years of conditioning in my head, that number still holds a bit of value over me. So it's just something that, I choose not to hop on the scales intentionally, because I don't want to be put into a pretty dark place. And then in turn, if I'm in a dark place, I might not be performing. If I'm not performing, I'm not getting selected. Potentially, if I'm not getting selected, I don't have a job as an athlete. And you've been working so hard, it's been a dream since you're a little girl. You don't want that to be the thing that tips you over.
I want to bring it back, because I want to see that smile again that you had when you were talking about playing with your mates at Mags.
Yes.
So your Silver Ferns debut, the dream that you had since you were a little girl. Take us through that moment and what it was like realising your dream. Your name is on the back of your jersey for New Zealand.
Yeah. I guess, of course I'm going to bring it down, but the first part of my journey, there was about 6 of us that were debutantes or new to the Silver Ferns squad, and I remember my debut because we had a test series against Jamaica, and pretty much I didn't debut till test 2 in Nelson, but on test 1, everyone got on court, all these new debutantes, apart from me. And I remember we won by like 30 or 40 goals, and anyone who knows netball, that's a massive score difference. And I remember going back to the hotel afterwards and absolutely crying in the shower because I thought, if I'm not going to get on with that big of a lead, I'm never going to get on. And so the next, come test 2, we were only out by like 16 or 20, and I was like, oh, I had just given up. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to happen. And then I remember hearing my name get called, and I nearly like actually cuckered my undies because I just never thought that was going to be a reality. I got on for like 6 or 7 minutes, the fastest ever netball game I've ever had in my life. But for once I was like, I've finally ticked it off. I've always talked about wanting to be this dual international, this tall fern, this silver fern, wanting to be good at both. And I finally did it. And I remember going on court and Laura Langman was on at the time, and she just passed me a ball. She's like, oh, look, Morty, you're on the court. And I remember just being absolutely stoked because I was playing with legends of the game who were genuinely happy to see someone like me get on. And then there's always more to it with my name in particular being on the back of a Silver Ferns black dress. My dad passed away when I was 19 after my debut, a couple of weeks after my debut. And so the importance for me to be able to have his last name, our last name, on a dress for someone who is very significant in my life, that's the biggest gift that I can have.
And he got to see you play and debut?
He never got to see me actually debut at the game, but he was actually at my very first game that I was a part of the 12, a part of the team, and so had this whole row of whānau and friends, and I didn't get on, but the importance of just having him there is something that I'll never forget.
How did you work through losing your dad, who was probably your hero?
Yeah, it was hard because I've had a pretty rough couple of years post leaving school. Some amazing moments. Yeah. I got to debut for the Pulse when I was never ever supposed to be a starting player. Injury comes along in a pre-season tournament, and then here you go, this 18-year-old starting and pretty much playing every game. That was amazing to actually be professional. And then during that ANZ season, my grandmother passed away. I've got a pretty small immediate whānau that I'm quite close to. So in all honesty, there's probably about 6 of us in this tight-knit whānau. So to lose her was in the middle of a debut professional season. That was immensely hard. And then 6 months later, my dad unexpectedly just passing away. Those are 2 really important figures in my life and had seen a transition. And I don't know, it brought my whānau together, but it made us vulnerable in the sense that now there's myself, my brother, my stepdad, my uncle, his wife, and that's pretty much about it. I'm very lucky that you're able, no matter whether you're related by blood, you can choose whānau. And I'm a big believer of the people who have been brought in my life by my parents, that our whānau group, we have like 50 people. I grew up...
Is this a WhatsApp?
No, honestly, it's here, there and everywhere. I grew up with my mum having like our whānau friends over Friday, Saturday, Sunday every week, and we would have 30 kids, 20 kids playing blindsman's bluff or hiding in the dark, spotlight. Those are the people that I'm really grateful to be in my life.
Go home, stay home?
Go home, stay home. While the parents are on the karaoke, like literally, they would purchase hire a karaoke machine every weekend. Like food, people, adults were having a party, the kids were just looking after themselves. Like that's a childhood, and those are the people that are still, to this day, one of my biggest supporters.
That's a great childhood.
It's a great childhood.
That's the best.
80s music,
Yeah.
R&B, Adija. My mum's got no shame. She'll just get up on stage and sing with Adija and ask for a mic. Anyone who knows my mum,
She must be a good singer.
Yeah,
And
she's
you've
not
got that
too bad.
too, don't you?
No, see, this is with my singing and my dancing, I'm halfway in between being like good-ish and like not good, flat. That's the hardest place to be. I'd rather be really bad or really good. But
You don't
then
wanna be
people
really
ask
bad,
me
trust
to
me.
lead, like we lead wyatters and stuff, and I'm like, oh, at least I'd rather sing than dance.
You're better than being flat. Trust me. You've got something.
You haven't heard me.
Nah, I'm terrible. How has I'm curious because yes, you've been very vulnerable and there's been some difficult things, but you also seem like such a strong and confident person. So what's it like inside Maia? How has your mental health been over the years of being this professional netballer and going through the ups and downs?
Ebbs and flows. Yeah, I'm very sure of myself. I'm very secure in myself and quite confident. Some people might call it arrogant, but I just like to call myself really assuring. I'm a very black and white person. Like I either love you like I love you, or I just don't, and there's no in between. But I think in my head, like at least you know what you see is what you're gonna get, and it's not because I'm annoyed, but it's genuinely out of love. I guess in terms of identity, being an athlete is a massive part. You ask anyone, you sort of shape yourself, and the value you hold and wins, losses, bad races, bad fights is immense. You put all your time and effort and your thought processes all around this. I guess non-selection has been a big one for me in terms of there's been times, I'm not fit enough, or I'm just not good enough. And I never had that non-selection until I became professional. So I know I was very fortunate when I was younger that I got chosen based on raw talent, but I never had the tools to deal with that properly. So I guess I would keep going back to, but why? Like, what's the action? What's the behavior and why? And then I would always, in some aspects, just, I'm not fit. So I need to train harder. I need to lose more weight. That's been quite hard. I guess when stuff goes on in my personal life, I'm able to leave my stuff at the door and get on with it. I'm quite strong in that sense that it just is what it is and you just need to be able to do what you do. But sometimes when I read into, not that I do it as much anymore, but keyboard warrior comments, news articles, I feel at the moment I'm having the best career to date, and some people just think I still shouldn't be around, or there's someone new to fill a spot. But I feel like I know what value I can bring teams. I know what value I am, no matter if I'm on the court or off the court. I deserve to be where I am, and that's not a hard. It shouldn't be a hard thing to say, but I know for some people it's a hard thing to hear. But I'm just confident in what I can bring.
When did you stop reading what the keyboard warriors were saying?
It's interesting. If I have a good game,
I
read it, I read it to gas
just
me
to
up.
fill the cup.
Yeah. But I know when I'm just not.
Just don't even go there sometimes.
Yeah, I guess it comes with age and experience. I'm talking like I'm old. I'm only 25. I just think I've been around the game since I was 18 at this stage, and you used to add so much value to it. But I have my people, my very small group of people that I actually listen to and allow to give feedback. It's pretty much 2 people, and that's about it. But yeah, I ain't got no time for that anymore.
What has netball given you? We've talked about who you are away from the court, your journey, but what is the sport? What has sport given Maia?
Sport's given Maia friendships. It's given values, it's given discipline, it's given more happy times that outweigh the really crappy ones, but it's the people. It's the people that keep you in any game. It's the moments. It's hard being an athlete, man. Like, I'm just talking about the physical demands of being an athlete. it's draining. Like for most people, you're training 2 or 3 times a day. Some people are working in between. Sometimes you have meetings every now and again. Like it's a full-time job, even if you're not being paid for it. So you got to do it out of love. I hate running yo-yos. I hate doing shuttles. But there's nowhere else I would rather be in this moment than being a professional netballer. As part of my identity, but it's not fully me. The other part is the kick I get out of it when I've played a really good game or my team's played an awesome game, and it's those small moments in life that you're never going to be able to get back.
What would you say now that you're 25, because you're real old and
so
everything?
old.
Yeah, you're so old. What would you say to your 18-year-old self just coming into ANZ?
Ooh, what would I say to myself?
You learnt a lot in 8 years, eh?
I have learnt a lot in 8 years. I think too, there's parts of my journey I actually appreciate because I've been able to learn so much of it. And in some places I've been put as this ambassador that I never wanted to be an ambassador. So it's okay to go through this journey. It's okay to not feel secure and to feel like you're a fraud and you're a hypocrite. But that's all part of the learning. And as long as you don't lose the fun and the love out of the game, out of the reassuring yourself you're a bloody good person and that you genuinely care for people, those are some of the best characteristics anyone can have.
And what about people that may have low self-esteem, low self-confidence? They may right now be going through the same struggle you have with the scales and maybe not loving what you see in the mirror. What do you say to those people?
You have no idea how normal it is. And it's not, I know my frame's just such like sport and female sport and representation, but what I've learned on this journey is it happens to everyone. Every single person has some demon that they struggle with. My thing is body image, and I know that so many women in particular have those struggles, but mate, it doesn't discriminate. So many men have the exact same struggles as we all do, and that's okay. The part of it that takes courage is actually verbalizing it, talking to someone about it. And it's all good and well that you acknowledge it, but it's making sure that you do something about it. I've been seeing my psychologist for 2 to 3 years, and I have no shame about saying that. Some days it's about body image, some days it's about sport and performance and leadership, and that's all good, but it's designed for me. I see her fortnightly, and I've come a long way in that journey. I'm still going to need to see her fortnightly for however long it comes, but it's okay. It's so okay.
You're such a beautiful person. Never stop being you, honestly. I know that people can tell you these things and you may not always believe it, but you genuinely are. I don't know why I'm crying, listening to you. You're just a beautiful, beautiful person. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.